Well, good afternoon once again, ladies and gentlemen. Our next match on this stage features players from England. First of all, will you please welcome the man who knocked out Paul Nicholson yesterday in a last leg decider. He's got his tour card since January of this year. Please welcome Chris Quantock.
Fireball. He's running the game. Now,
and Chris's opponent, he is a two-time World Masters champion, the 2014 Lakeside World Champion. He is the Bullet, Stephen Bunting.
Oh, and everybody's heard about the bird. Bird, bird, bird.
Beating Paul Nicholson yesterday, Chris Quantock. Will he be putting out the Bunting at the end of this one? Former Lakeside World Champion Stephen Bunting, who has reached the last 16 in a couple of these European Tour events this year, but was rather unfortunate to draw Adrian Lewis in the first round of the last one, and he didn't get past jackpot. Interesting game. Rob Malarkey was saying in the last match that he fancied this as a potential scalp for Quanny. Do you agree or beg to differ, Dan Darts Dawson?
I think this is a very difficult game to call. Stephen Bunting, the obvious favourite. He's been quite good at getting through his opening round games on the European Tour. He's done that 3 times when he was a seeded player, as he is this weekend.
Ladies and gentlemen, first leg, it's Chris to throw first. Game on.
But Stephen Bunting keeps on putting in displays which suggest, oh, he's coming back into form. We're going to see the old Bunting, the former Lakeside World Champion and 2-time World Master, the man who terrorised the PDC establishment in his first year
100.
since moving over from the BDO. And then it goes back to, well, they managed to see off 501 points in 3 darts, it would appear, according to our scoreboard.
Fantastic leg, the best leg we will see all weekend.
The best leg you'll see ever.
Well, he's bust now.
137.
We'll try and let you know what's going on with the scores as we sort this out. But yeah, Bunting, he's been winning his opening games, but then you look at the players he's lost to on the European Tour this year. Peter Wright a couple of times, Mensur Suljovic once, and then Adrian Lewis, where he got that nightmare first round draw last time out. So look, he's only being beaten
60.
on the Euro Tour by really top players. There we go.
And as a number 16 seed, of course, he's needed to meet the number 1 seed. So yeah. Peter Wright in the next round, should he get past this decent prospect from Yorkshire, it has to be said. Just look at his European Tour results. 265s, 100 defeat by Jan Decker, and then he had to survive match darts against Paul Nicholson. We've seen him on the Pro Tour a few times, and he's a very competent chucker.
60.
Yeah, I think he's got something, Chris Quantock. We're just going to have to give him a bit of time and see how he develops as Bunting looks for the treble 16, finds it, but misses the double 18. Quantock for a hold of throw is looking at 80. Might get 2 darts at a double. He does. It's double 10. Yeah, really nice.
Chris Quantock.
Very nice indeed.
Yeah, neither of these players have made it as far as a quarter-final in any event this year, which they've been more than 20 now.
59.
Knocking on the door, though, haven't they? We've seen Quantock in the UK Open qualifiers make a last 16, a few last 32 appearances 55. On the Pro Tour. Bunting, as I say, keeps making the last 16 on the Euro Tour when he's a seeded player, but keeps running into one of the big names on the European Tour and losing.
42.
But then, you know, last time out in Wigan, he was first round exit on both days. In fact, I mean, Stephen Bunting comes into this, he's on a 3-game losing streak. In that defeat to Adrian Lewis, Josh Payne and Alan Tabbin did him 6-1 in Wigan on the Saturday last time.
140.
We know he's got the game. He has won a couple of PDC titles since making the switch as BDO World Champion. Won almost immediately, didn't he? UK Open qualifier. Also added a Players' Championship title last year.
Yeah, and that was pretty much, not quite to the day, but 2 years on. So that money that was coming off his ranking, he immediately put it back on again, which has kind of helped keep him where he is. I mean, Stephen Bunting was
85.
You know, he looked in his first year in the PDC like he was going to firmly establish himself in the top 10 and stay there. As it is, he's currently ranked 22 in the world. But you know that he's got the capability to be higher than that and win things because he's proven it.
It's one of those where you look and think, are they really 16 or even 21 players better than Stephen Bunting? And well, the rankings suggest that they are.
Game shot on the second leg, Stephen
But
Bunting.
finishing like that,
Third leg, it's Chris to throw first. Game on.
he can make his case.
Well, that's it. I mean, when you look at some of the games he has lost and some of the performances, and you do think, well, that's a fair reflection. But you just think there's so much more to come. And you've got to remember, Stephen Bunting, he's a young man. Been around for a long while, obviously. But, I mean,
28.
If he's 32 now, he could be playing this game for another 20 years.
Yeah, well, when he was winning all
100.
and everything in the BDO and said, I'd come over, he was something of a prodigy, wasn't he? He was an exciting young talent on the scene. And he did make, as we've mentioned, an immediate impact.
140.
Earned himself a place in the Premier League. Off the back of it, in the World Series in Australia, he appeared.
I know he didn't make the playoffs in the Premier League,
96.
but I have to say, I think he held his own.
Yeah, he certainly did. Did not disgrace himself by any stretch of the imagination.
But then Stephen Bunting has had
100.
to deal with something in life as a PDC pro, which he hadn't had to deal with before, and that is losing a lot of games and going out early in tournaments, because that affects your confidence.
140.
And as we all know, we hear players say all the time, confidence is a massive, massive factor. And guys who put together a little string of results and the confidence starts flowing, they get better and better, and it's self-perpetuating. Quantock gets a dart at double 16.
74.
Just misses outside. This is for a break of throw. Bunting will look at the 19s. Could look at bullseye. Does look at bullseye. Tops. Ooh,
73.
a straight line down the middle of the board. Got the ball, got the single 3, but couldn't find double top. And Quantock for 2-1. Double 4.
24.
Now that
You require 20.
is a problem. You can excuse players missing a dart at the end of a ton plus checkout in a combination, but when you've got 3 darts at doubles that you leave regularly
On the third leg,
and you
Stephen
don't take
Bunting.
them out,
Fourth leg, it's Stephen to throw
that
first.
has to go down as a mistake.
Game on.
It's a mistake that has been punished by Stephen Bunting. I like his on-stage and off-stage demeanour as well. Stephen Bunting, a supreme sportsman.
140.
Takes victory and defeat in a respectful manner.
I'm certainly very gracious. And he is,
83.
he's always laughing and joking around the place. He's one of the lives and souls of the practice room. But what you really want
41.
from Stephen Bunting is that kind of arrogance and a bit of swagger. He's not going to stroll about like Kevin Painter, but you know, you want him walking around
134.
thinking, I am that Lakeside World Champion. I'm that guy who won the 2 World Masters. I'm the guy who came over to the PDC and beat Taylor in a major tournament my first year, won one of my first tournaments.
Yeah, beat Michael van Gerwen in that tournament as well.
180.
Darts like that, well, the kind that he was chucking on his arrival in the PDC. And if he can put more of those together,
134.
I'm sure we will see him
Stephen, you
launch an assault back towards the top 16 very soon.
Well, look, he's got time on his side. So is this young man, Chris Quantock, though, 25 years old and only just starting out as a PDC
60.
pro. He's played Challenge Tour, won a couple of Challenge Tour titles. Not going to take out the 150.
100.
Good last start.
Stephen, you require 80.
Once again, Bunting just a little
50.
bit low with his first dart at double top, and that allows Quantock back to the board. Double 16. Had problems in the last leg in this area of the board. And he's
42.
got more problems now.
You require 20.
Well, squandered darts in the previous leg. Has done the same this time around. Last time, Bunting punished him by landing double 10. Will it be the same outcome? Well, he doesn't. He usually stands right at the other side of the hockey. This is a major adjustment for Stephen Bunting.
He's about 6 feet away from where he normally stands.
No score.
And maybe
Pressure
that played a part.
8. Game shot on the fourth leg, Chris Quantock. Fifth leg, it's Chris to throw first. Game on.
Well, an immediate break back. Bunting missing 4 darts for a 3-1 lead. And may prove to be decisive.
140.
Winner of this one faces either the number 1 seed Peter Snakebite Wright or Christoph Ratajski, and as well as Peter Wright has played, and he's played superbly on the European Tour, played superbly all year, all over the place. And right off Christoph Ratajski keeps putting himself in this position in the second round on the European Tour.
96.
I think it's only a matter of time before we see him go on and make the final day of action. However, tall order when you've been drawn against the number 1 seed.
He's almost got the advantage
100.
that the top seeds have got in knowing that he's going to play in the next few European Tour events, because he qualified for 3 on 2 occasions, didn't he?
145.
Also got Jelle Klaasen against Magnus Karris coming up this afternoon, followed by Michael Smith against Christian Kist and Joe Cullen against Rob Cross.
133. Certainly
those last 2 games could provide potential banana skins for the seeds. Well, Chris Quantock was threatening to take out the 120, but he also threatened to bust his own score.
We could see it caught the flight there, and it savagely deflected. And so he's a little bit unlucky that it caught the flight, but he is very, very lucky that it deflected so much it went into the treble 5 and not the treble 20. Because in the end, he has managed to set the shot up. Whereas he could have been coming back to the board looking at 120 rather than 3 clear darts at double top to go back in the lead.
And
again,
even you require 108.
missed darts at double. From Quantock. And he could be in a quandary if Bunting lands double 14, which he does for a 108 out.
Looks like it's Stephen to throw first. Game on.
Well, curious in terms of the double-in from these two. Between them, they've hit checkouts of 80, 69 and 108, but then both guys have missed a series of darts at double as well.
41.
It means that Stephen Bunting has edged back into the lead. But Chris Quantock, you know, he's had 2 games on the European Tour so far. Both of them have gone the distance. Would not be a surprise if we saw another close game.
108.
Stephen Bunting would prefer it isn't close. That's the second 180.
So we've seen a good handful of
140.
ton plus checkouts already today, haven't we?
Yeah, plenty. It started with a 170 in the Davil Gurney game. There's a 130 in the very first game of the David James Richardson.
He also had a 118, and Christo Reyes had a 126.
140.
Gurney had 2 more ton plus finishes in his match as well. Just seen Stephen Bunting take out a 108.
Matt Clark took out a 124 against Alan Norris as well.
We're almost seeing a higher percentage of 3-figure checkouts here than we are with 3 darts in hand at double.
100.
There have been a lot of missed doubles here in Gibraltar this weekend, but we have seen some big checkouts as well. Strange stuff, but nothing wrong with that visit. 177 to leave double 12, applying the pressure on Bunting. And once again, darts in hand and single double needed, and 3 darts missed by Stephen Bunting.
24.
1 missed by Quantock, 2. And there's the full house.
You require 10.
You can just see frustration creeping onto Chris Quantock's face and his body language there. He knows he's missed chances in almost every leg.
Game shot on the 6th leg.
And he is punished.
Bunting.
That's the first time we've got a gap of 2 legs open up between these 2 players. You can see Bunting's management team over there, John Archer and his wife.
100.
Yeah, also got Joe Cullen and Rob Cross in their stable. Those 2 fighting out in the final game of this afternoon's session. And for me, it was that game and the Davil Gurney Darren Webster game that really stood out when I looked at the schedule for this afternoon's play.
Yeah, really one earlier on that whet the appetite, Gurney and Darren Webster.
81.
The tantalising prospect of Cullen and Cross going blow for blow. This evening, probably look at Simon Whitlock, Steve Beegton as the pick of the bunch.
99.
Yeah, although there's a few in there that are intriguing clashes. As I say, Johnny Clayton
100.
has played some good darts, and Dave Chisholm's playing phenomenally well. They both get going, we could be in for something special. Don't rule out Big John Henderson.
100.
Against Ian White, who's played excellently on the European Tour so far this year. Kim Hybrex and James Wilson could be tasty.
60.
And as I say, do not write off Krzysztof Ratajski, even though he is taking on the favourite for this title, Peter Snakebite Wright.
140.
Let's not write off Chris Quantock just yet. He's got himself into positions in many legs, and he's got himself in a position for a huge finish.
140.
Just pulled it low. Now Bunting.
120.
The ultimate punishment. Can he dish it out?
Not on this occasion.
100.
Leaves himself double 10, but Quantock gets a go at double 10 first to close the gap to just a leg. Double 5.
Game shot.
There it
leg.
is.
Chris
It is
Quantock.
down to one leg between
They get
these
Stephen
two.
to throw first. Game on.
You'd assume that Stephen Bunting would still feel very comfortable.
180.
Feel a lot more comfortable after that. It is 180, number 3 for Stephen Bunting.
93.
He's one of those players, when the first start is in, you almost feel it is inevitable that he will follow. But let's see if that's correct. Inevitable.
180.
It appears, on occasion, Chris Murphy does know what he's talking about. But more importantly, 6 perfect darts for Stephen Bunting leaves 141 for the perfect leg. It is on. It is on.
Oh my word.
129. Stephen Bunting misses double 12 for what would have been the first 9 darts on the European Tour since this very tournament in 2013. 8 perfect darts from Stephen Bunting.
58.
But once again, the double 12 proves to be the downfall. And the wait goes on for the perfect leg.
Game shot on the 8th leg.
But an 11 darter
Bunting.
for Stephen Bunting puts him one leg away from a place in the last 16 in the final day of action.
Well, it's getting closer, Dan. Dave Chisnell missed double 12 for the perfect leg last week.
140.
That was in Sindelfing, and Stephen Bunting almost serving up a 9-dart special
60.
here in Gibraltar.
$63.
Unfortunate there for Quantock, but he does have a lead of 143 points. Still needs 1 break of throw, but no margin for error.
55. $60.
Well, Bunting's played a pretty solid game,
100.
averaging mid-90s, 4 maximums, of course including the back-to-backs in the previous leg.
58.
Set up the 9-dart chance. And only 58 there from Quantock means he's not down to a finish. So if Bunting can find 2 big trebles, he will beat
58.
Doesn't mind any.
$140.
Ideal setup shot from the Yorkshireman, leaves himself tops. He is going to rue all those missed darts at doubles in legs that he lost earlier on in the game, because despite Stephen Bunting almost producing perfection in this match, he has offered opportunities to Quantock, and he may offer yet more.
I would love a 12-dart leg here.
140.
Not a bad way to start.
$140.
Knotting up here. Quantock trying to force a deciding leg, but 180 number 5 for Stephen Bunting. That's only been bettered by Cristo Reyes today, who hit an incredible 7 in the opening game of the day. That went the distance as well. Bunting will be hoping this does not go the full 11 legs.
You mentioned at the start of the leg, Dan, that he's kept handing
100.
Chris Quantock the chance card, but it seems at this time he might not even get a chance to force a decider, because Bunting has left 81 after 9 darts.
81.
And if he takes it out, he's in the last 16 to face Wright or Ratajski. Oh, what's he going to do? 12 for Bull or not?
Has to be, doesn't it? Well, double 13.
Game shot.
And there it is.
Match.
It is a
Stephen
12-dart leg
Bunting.
for Stephen Bunting. An 11-darter when he was threatening the 9. Missed the double 12 for the perfect leg, the first one on the European Tour for 4 years. But Stephen Bunting gets the job done again. He comes to these Euro Tours as a seed. He wins his opening game. Unfortunately for the Bullet, he loses the next one. That's been the pattern so far. Can he put that right this weekend? We will see him tomorrow afternoon. He takes on either Ratajski or Peter Snakebite Wright, the #1 seed in Gibraltar this weekend. We've got 3 more games coming up for you for the afternoon session. Michael Smith and Christian Kist, Joe Cullen versus Rob Cross. But coming up now, it's Poker Face Magnus Carris against Jelle Klaassen, looking to continue his phenomenal run on the European Tour. 5 events, and he has made at least the semi-finals in all of it.
Of course. Did you not have practice on the double 12 backstage?
I hit it backstage. No, it's always difficult in front of a packed crowd to hit double 12, so no, I just want a pin badge. Just give me a pin badge, I'll be all right.
There is a curse on that 9-darter on the Euro Tour. It still is here. Stephen, that was all in all, I think, a good performance, wasn't it?
I enjoyed it, yeah. Coming into this weekend, I felt really good. I've been practicing with the new darts since Monday, so yeah, it's gone well. And they've gone in today, so I'm happy with that.
And you've got the whole family with you here, so that may help to ease yourself as well?
I think so. I think the Chinese is on me tonight, so yeah, no, happy with that. Disappointed I missed the double for the 9-darter, but Chris is a fantastic player, and I'm just happy to get through that round.
All right, save me a seat at the Chinese. Ladies and gentlemen, he'll be back tomorrow. Stephen Bunting.